Hi Mohit, welcome to the show. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Jignesh. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Same here. Our viewers are pretty excited to know your opinion and view for budget expectation and your wish list for the year.
Okay, so look, I think it's an annual exercise, honestly, but markets and investors and individuals, everyone just tend to get excited every year around this time. And for reasons which are absolutely necessary. Honestly, I think it's a statement of what is likely to happen with your finances next year. And everyone has their own set of expectations. So, I think if I were to divide this budget into a few smaller parts and pieces, let's take the most critical part first, which is the taxation part, right? And I think like every year, individuals have their expectations that taxes might be reduced, so on and so forth, and government will come out with some extra booty or some extra rebates and all. But honestly, Dinesh, this time around, I feel government's hands are very, very tight. Coffers don't have any money. We are anyways running a huge fiscal deficit because of COVID, because of the economic lockdown, everything. The tax collections have been very muted for first two quarters of this financial year. And I seriously doubt that government has the bandwidth or the leeway to allow any additional tax rebates. All I can hope for is that they might give some work from home allowances because people have spent a lot of money in buying gadgets, technology, network connections, everything. So maybe those expenses might be allowed as deductible from tax. That can be a work from home kind of an allowance the government might give. Government can also pass on some COVID benefits, which are COVID allowances. Perhaps people who have spent money in family for COVID treatment, which was not covered by health insurance policy, those can be claimed as deductions and so on and so forth. But beyond that, honestly, it's difficult for me to imagine that government can go all out on the taxes part. The second part is the corporate part, which is the MSME part, which is where the most of the bulk of the pain we have seen in the economy, right? Those MSMEs have shut down, closed down their businesses. There is a trifecta of problems out there. Supply chains have not been working, labor shortages, demand wasn't picking up. So all these three combined really kind of muddled around all the MSMEs. So I think government has to focus more there, how to create more supply chains, how to increase the infra, how to open up the sectors of the economy which has like got badly beaten by COVID, and how to get the demand back. So demand को back लाने के लिए, I think government will have to go by incentivizing consumption, which is again passing on some indirect taxes benefits in sectors which are hit. So just to take an example, let's say movie halls are vacant right now. People are scared of going to movie halls. People are scared of going to hotels, right? So government can give some tax rebate, some benefits for people to go out and spend in those sectors of the economy which are badly beaten. Just to give you a case in point, in UK, just after like 3-6 months of Corona, they came out with a hotel rebate thing, as in you go out and eat in a restaurant, and if one person eats, the other one was free, and government picked up the tab, right? And that scheme was a mega hit across the US. Hotels, restaurants saw a big boom because of this thing. And something similar, something out of the box, out of the context will have to come through the budget to kind of revise the sectors which have taken the biggest beating. MSMEs में you gave moratorium, you gave some waivers, but I think more is needed to be done on those fronts. MSMEs need a lot of support on the supply side also, and on uh, uh, creating the labor shortages or getting the labor back to work, which also has been a big concern area. So that is on the MSMEs and the smaller businesses which have got hit badly. The third part, which I think government has in mind, but has not been able to create substantial difference, is the agriculture part. I think government has to really work around this agricultural reform part. They came out with a law which again couldn't work well. There was a lot of resistance, a lot of protest, um, um, and they have to like withhold it for some time, right? So I think something will have to come out of the box to maybe government will have to spend more on this area, on storage, on logistics, on creating warehouses, on creating supply chains. Those are the areas because government also, we have to understand, government has given a promise to farmers to double their income by 2022, right? That was the underlying promise of this government. And there's only 1 year outstanding to that. honestly, it is we are way off from that level. So government will have to really come out and try and see how they can eliminate the middleman without disturbing the entire farm chain. So that, to my mind, will be a critical area. That's point number third. Last point, or no, sorry, point number four will be Make in India execution. I think government has done enough on that front, but there is never a dearth of activities which you can do out there. Across the globe, we see a resistance. We see some amount of inbuilt angst against China and Chinese products, right? And this is the time when India can actually make its mark. Government can incentivize greenfield projects and brownfield projects. Government can incentivize FII money to some extent. Government can incentivize large-scale projects which can create a lot of employment, right? They can give tax rebates, tax breaks, so on and so forth. And this is one area where a lot of activity and action is expected. Along with that, on the same line, not especially Make in India, but on the same lines, I think a lot of privatization and disinvestment is also put on the back burner this year, will have to come on the front, especially Indian Airlines and Railways. Those are two areas which can, and LIC's disinvestment, LIC's IPO, which needs to go out in the market this financial year. So these are three big events which ideally should happen to shore up government's finances, right? So these are 4-5 main points. And my last thing, perhaps, or expectation from this budget is to boost that one sector of the economy which has got badly beaten, which has the potential for highest employment in the economy, which is real estate.
Okay.
Honestly, if you have to pick up the economy, you have to pick up the real estate sector, you have to incentivize home buyers, you have to pass on that benefit, interest exemption from 1.5 needs to go up to 2, 3, 4, or whatever be the limit. Incentives to builders, extra FSI, tax breaks, reduction in stamp duties. It has worked extremely well in Maharashtra. We have seen reduction in stamp duty has actually boosted home sales. So something like that, something out of the box to boost up the real estate sector, because all allied industries like cement, steel, labor, everything is linked to it, right? So if you boost real estate, if you do something there, I think it will transport and to each and every aspect of the economy. So the wish list can never end. It's an ever growing, ever thing kind of a scenario. Honestly, और मुझे लगता है कि हर बजट में जितना आप सोचो कि इतना होना चाहिए, उससे हमेशा आपकी एक्सपेक्टेशंस कम ही रह जाती हैं. But this was my list. And just to sum it up, I would just like to quote Herbert Hoover here, who says that the budget should not be balanced by more taxes, but it has to be balanced by reduction of error or reduction of policy. And that's what this budget should aim to. That's my sum and summary of this budget.
Very interesting take, Mohit. As always, you are very crystal clear in your thoughts, and which really, helps the investors also. Our follow-up question is a little bit on the macro side of the market. Fundamentally, how do you see the markets from here on? And secondly, we have breached 50,000 mark, maybe, primarily because of the FII monies coming in India. But how do you see markets from here for, say, next 24 to 36 months?
Look, Jignesh, my personal view on this is that making money should never be so easy. And honestly, I've written a blog on that particular piece that the markets have actually run up so quick, so fast that it looks like making money is everyone's job. Everyone can do it, right? You and I, anyone who doesn't even know anything about the market can just sit at home, buy one stock and get rich tomorrow. That's not what markets should be doing, honestly, and that's not the right lesson for anyone to learn from the market. अभी इतना ज्यादा हो गया है मार्केट का रैली, उस लिमिट तक हो गया है कि इवन वीकेंड seem like notional loss of wealth. Saturday, Sunday, when the markets are not working, people think they're losing wealth, right? Because markets are not going up on those 2 days. So it's become fundamentally insane, honestly. However, the gush of liquidity is so high right now, and the interest rate, inflation is so low globally that there is no real reason for money, or there is no real asset class for money to chase, right? Definitely, there are no yields anywhere globally. So where will the money go, right? And there is gush of liquidity. So the money has to finally find its way into the risky assets, which is equities per se, and that is what is happening globally. So my fundamental take is markets have enough and more liquidity, but people should not push their luck. People should not overdo their asset allocation. Equity पे neutral weight या underweight होना अच्छा है from these level onwards. basically. So if your asset allocation is 50 equity, 50 debt, it will be prudent for you to shortly or gradually move towards 40 equity and 60 debt. So slightly underweight equity. I'm not saying go out of it. The fear of missing out is for real. So don't miss out this rally because it can last for long. But don't totally go out of don't totally go out of the market either. But don't be like over invested because market can shock you anytime from these levels, right? So that's my fundamental take.
So you mean to say one should book profits regularly?
I think one should just keep rebalancing their portfolios as per their asset allocation, and booking profits is one way of doing that.
Right, right. For people, investors who are into SIP, what would be your advice?
Look, SIPs is one thing which is meant for volatile markets, not meant for a one-way market. Honestly, last 3-6 months have been one-way market. जितना market ज़्यादा volatile होगा, markets में जितने correction आएंगे, SIPs will benefit more. So increase the pace of your SIPs always, whenever you can do that. अगर market गिरता है तो SIPs की amount बढ़ाइए, market और गिरता है तो SIPs की amount को triple कर दीजिए, right? But continue with your SIP and your regular investments because discipline is the utmost requirement of creating a long-term wealth and long-term profit. So that you can't taper with or you can't temper with.
So you would want to continue the SIPs, right? That's what your message is.
Absolutely.
Right. Interesting point. Do you see any special funds right now in the market which are there, which does adjustment as per the market fee, or maybe which will have healthy debt and equity allocation, or maybe hybrid funds which are there in your mind, which you would be advising to your clients?
Look, so there are a lot of hybrid funds and balance advantage funds which are available in the market right now, and investors have been lapping them up. Honestly, quite a number of them adjust the debt equity composition depending on the market P levels, returns of the market, price to book values of the market, and they do it dynamically. They do it every month, they do it every 15 months. So बहुत सारे themes है उसके around में. I would say any one or two good hybrid funds like an ICICI Pru Balance Advantage Fund or a DSP Dynamic Allocation Fund, or there are some multi-asset funds also which will have gold, debt, and equity compositions. Those are good bets, and investors can just choose the few of them. My picks around that will be, I think, ICICI Balance Advantage and Edelweiss Balance Advantage. I personally like those two.
Right. Mohit, it's always interesting to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to having a conversation with you after the budget.
Absolutely, Jignesh. Pleasure is all mine, and I wish Investment Guru India all the very best in this great endeavor which you guys have been doing all this time.
Thank you, Mohit. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jignesh. Thanks.